You've probably felt this before. You set a goal, you're motivated, you work hard, really hard, but somehow it never sticks. The gym routine falls apart after 2 weeks. The business idea never gets off the ground. The productivity system collapses the moment life gets busy. And you start to think, maybe success just isn't for me. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I'm not disciplined enough. But here's the truth. It's not about discipline. It's not about motivation. It's not even about working harder. It's about systems. And the reason success feels so hard is because you're trying to run on willpower alone. And willpower is the worst tool for the job. Today, I'm going to show you why systems beat effort every single time, and how building the right systems makes success feel almost automatic. Because here's what most people don't understand. Successful people aren't more disciplined than you. They're not more motivated. They're not working harder. They just stopped relying on willpower, and they built systems that work even when they don't feel like it. Let's start with why willpower doesn't work. And this is something most people get completely wrong. We're taught that success is about pushing harder, grinding more, forcing yourself to do the things you don't want to do. But willpower is a limited resource. You wake up with a certain amount of it, and every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every task you force yourself to do drains it. By the end of the day, you have nothing left. That's why you can resist the donut in the morning, but order takeout at night. That's why you can focus at 9 a.m., but scroll mindlessly at 9 p.m. Your willpower is gone. And when it's gone, you default to the easiest option, the path of least resistance. So if you're relying on willpower to go to the gym, to eat healthy, to work on your goals, you're fighting a losing battle, because eventually willpower runs out. And when it does, your habits collapse. But systems don't run out. Systems don't care how you feel. Systems just run. So what is a system? It's simple. A system is a set of repeated actions that produce a predictable result. That's it. You don't have to think. You don't have to decide. You don't have to motivate yourself. You just follow the system. And when you build the right systems, success stops being something you chase. It becomes something that happens automatically. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to get in shape. Most people approach it like this. They decide, I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to lose weight. And for the first few days, they do it. They're motivated. They push through. But then life happens. Work gets busy. They're tired. They skip one day, then two. Then the whole thing falls apart. Why? Because they were relying on willpower. They were deciding every single day whether or not to work out. And every decision drains willpower. But someone with a system doesn't decide. They just follow the system. Their system might look like this. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m., I go to the gym. That's it. No decision, no motivation needed. It's just what happens on those days. And because it's automatic, it doesn't require willpower. It's just part of the routine, like brushing your teeth. You don't motivate yourself to brush your teeth. You just do it because that's what you do. That's the power of a system. It removes the decision. And when you remove the decision, you remove the need for willpower. Now here's the key. A good system has 3 things: clarity, repetition, and low friction. Let's break that down. First, clarity. You need to know exactly what you're doing and when you're doing it. Not, I'll work out sometime this week, but I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. Vague goals require willpower. Specific systems don't. Second, repetition. The more you repeat something, the less effort it takes. The first time you do it, it's hard. The 10th time, it's easier. The 100th time, it's automatic. That's how habits form, through repetition. So your system needs to be something you do over and over until it becomes effortless. And third, low friction. This is the most important one. If your system is hard to follow, you won't follow it. So you need to remove every obstacle, every excuse, every bit of resistance. Want to work out in the morning? Sleep in your gym clothes. Put your shoes by the door. Make it so easy you can't say no. Want to eat healthy? Meal prep on Sunday, so when you're tired on Wednesday, the healthy food is already there. You don't have to decide. You just eat what's in front of you. That's low friction. And when you remove friction, the system runs itself. Now let's talk about what happens when you don't have systems, because this is where most people are stuck. Without systems, you're starting from zero every single day. Every day, you wake up and decide, am I going to work out today? Am I going to eat healthy? Am I going to work on my goals? And every decision drains you. Every choice requires effort. And by the time you actually sit down to do the thing, you're already exhausted. So you don't do it, or you do it halfway, and then you feel bad about yourself, and the cycle repeats. But with systems, you don't start from zero. You start from where you left off, because the system is already in place. You're just continuing what's already in motion. And that makes all the difference, because momentum is easier to maintain than to create. Now here's something most people miss. Systems aren't just about productivity. They're about identity. When you follow a system consistently, you start to see yourself differently. You stop being someone who's trying to work out, you become someone who works out. You stop being someone who wants to be productive, you become someone who is productive. And that shift in identity is what makes the system permanent, because now it's not something you do, it's who you are. And James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits. He says the goal is not to read a book, the goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon, the goal is to become a runner. Because when it's part of your identity, you don't need motivation. You just do it because that's who you are. And systems are what build that identity. Every time you follow your system, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. One workout doesn't make you fit, but a system that gets you to the gym 3 times a week for a year, that makes you fit. One healthy meal doesn't make you healthy, but a system that gets you to meal prep every Sunday for 6 months, that makes you healthy. One productive morning doesn't make you successful, but a system that gets you to work on your goals every morning for a year, that makes you successful. So the question isn't, how do I find more motivation? The question is, what system can I build that runs even when I don't feel like it? Now, let's talk about how to actually build a system, because knowing you need one and building one are 2 different things. The first step is to start small, so small it feels too easy, because the goal isn't to do something impressive. The goal is to do something repeatable. If you want to work out, don't commit to an hour at the gym every day. Commit to 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes, 3 times a week. That sounds too easy, right? But that's the point, because you're not trying to get fit in 1 week. You're trying to build a habit that lasts. And once the habit is in place, once the system is running, you can scale it up. But if you start too big, you'll burn out before the system even takes hold. The second step is to remove friction. Look at your system and ask, what's going to stop me from doing this? Is it not having the right equipment? Is it not knowing what to do? Is it being too tired in the evening? Whatever the friction is, remove it. Prepare the night before, lay out your clothes, pack your gym bag, make it so easy that your future self has no excuse. The third step is to track it, not to judge yourself, but to see the pattern. Because here's what happens. When you track your system, you start to see the compound effect. You see that you worked out 3 times a week for a month, and that becomes evidence that you're someone who works out. And that evidence reinforces the identity, which makes the system stronger. Now here's the part most people struggle with. What do you do when you miss a day? Because you will miss days. Life happens. You get sick. You travel. Something comes up. And most people think, I broke the streak. I failed. I might as well quit. But that's the wrong way to think about it. Because a system isn't about perfection. It's about repetition. Missing 1 day doesn't break the system. It's just data. It tells you where the friction is, so you adjust and keep going. The goal isn't to never miss. The goal is to never miss twice. Because missing once is an exception, missing twice is a new pattern. So if you miss a day, don't spiral. Just get back to the system the next day. That's it. Now let's talk about what happens when systems actually start working, because this is where it gets interesting. At first, systems feel like effort. You have to remind yourself. You have to push a little. It's not automatic yet. But if you stick with it, something shifts. The system starts running on its own.
You don't think about it anymore. You just do it. And that's when success stops feeling hard, because you're not forcing anything. You're just following the path you've already built. Your mornings become predictable. Your workouts become routine. Your work becomes consistent. And consistency is what creates results. Not intensity, not motivation, consistency. Because small actions repeated over time compound into massive results. That's the system working. So here's what you need to remember. Success doesn't come from working harder. It comes from building systems that make success inevitable. Willpower is finite. Systems are infinite. Motivation fades. Systems remain. So stop trying to force yourself to be disciplined, stop waiting for motivation, and start building systems that work even when you don't feel like it.
Because the truth is, successful people aren't superhuman. They're not more motivated than you. They're not more disciplined. They just built systems, and those systems carried them to success while everyone else burned out. If this changed how you think about success, hit subscribe, because the secret isn't working harder. It's working smarter, and systems are how you do that.